It's my birthday and I wanted to do a little bit of book shopping. So lately, the only time I've been buying books is when other people either get them for me or they give me gift cards in order to go buy myself books. I have a little bit of a stack here that I'm really excited to show you guys. But first, I have some vlog clips of me going to buy some of these books at like Goodwill or Barnes & Noble. So we're going to get into those right now. Time.
I want you to believe. Hold me, lead me, catch me. Want you to dream. I want you to dream. I want you to dream.
So I had a really fun time doing some book shopping. I don't get to do it super often because I don't really have a Barnes & Noble anywhere near me. Whenever I do go to Barnes & Noble, it's always me having to go like way out of town in order to go to a Barnes & Noble. So it's definitely not something that happens on a frequent basis. But I do have a really good Goodwill here, and it has like an amazing book section. So that was super fun. And I'm going to get into those books first from the Goodwill. So I got 4 books from the Goodwill, and they're all in paperback, so that meant that each of them were 99 cents. And I went to the Goodwill with my parents, so my mom ended up buying me these books. And the first one that I picked up was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I've already seen the Netflix film for this book, and I actually enjoyed it, except, you know, we all know who's cast in the adaptation of Rebecca, but I mostly watched it because I love Lily James, so I had to watch the Netflix adaptation. I ended up really enjoying it, and I know that this is also one of Taylor Swift's favorite books, so when I saw it at the Goodwill, I just had to pick it up, and I'm super excited about it. It says on the cover that it's a modern masterpiece of romantic suspense, and I'm really excited to read it and see how the book differs from the adaptation, and see if I end up enjoying it just as much as Taylor did. The next book is one that just kind of caught my eye while I was browsing through the books, and that is 4 Great Plays by Henrik Ibsen. And this is just a collection of plays written by the author, and I love the cover of this book. I thought it was super pretty, so I ended up picking this up. I feel like it's been a while since I read any plays, and I do really like reading them, so I figured that this would be a fun one to pick up and just give it a little bit of a read. So I'm super excited that I picked this one up as well. The next book is one that I've always wanted to pick up, and that is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. And this is her collection of essays. I think it's kind of like a celebrity memoir, and I have been getting into those more recently. So I was really excited when I found a copy of this at the Goodwill, and I just figured that it'd be really fun to read this book because I love Mindy Kaling. I actually just recently watched The Sex Lives of College Girls, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so funny, and I also used to be really into the show The Mindy Project. I never finished it, which I probably should, but I can't really remember where I left off, so I feel like I just have to rewatch the entire series, which maybe I will do someday. But I do remember really enjoying that show as well, and of course I love The Office. this, and I'm really excited to read this book. And the very last book that I picked up from the Goodwill was Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane, and this is a book that I've been wanting to read for quite a while. This is an adult thriller. I don't really know what it's about, but I'm pretty sure that it kind of is set in this like suburban neighborhood, so I'm really excited to see what it's all about. I've been trying to get more into thrillers. I really don't know where to start or like what kind of thrillers I enjoy. I just recently read Who is Maud Dixon, and I absolutely loved that book, and it was like the kind of thriller that I think I might like, where it felt a bit more like not necessarily literary fiction, but just kind of contemporary fiction that just happened to be a thriller. And I think that that might be the kind of thriller that I enjoy. So I don't really know if this is going to be anything similar, but I am super excited to read it, and I know that it's a really popular book, so hopefully I will also really enjoy it. I didn't end up filming this, but I did go to the Dollar Tree, and they typically have a pretty good book section. This time around, I was a little disappointed by some of the selections, but you know, it's a Dollar Tree, what are you going to say? I guess you can't really ask for all that much, but I ended up finding one book that I was kind of interested in. I'd never heard of it before, but it did look really interesting, and that is Polite Society by Mahesh Rao. And this is an Emma retelling, so Emma by Jane Austen. It's one of my favorite, and actually the only Jane Austen book that I've actually read all the way through. I really don't know anything else about it. I've never seen anybody else read it. So yeah, it ended up being $1.25, which is, you know, a great deal. And this is definitely one that I couldn't pass up. Okay, so on to the Barnes & Noble trip that I just did. I picked out 3 books, and I'm super excited about all of them. It was really difficult to decide what I wanted for this trip. I was also carrying around War and Peace because I keep wanting to buy that book, but then I get really intimidated and decide not to buy it, and I'm like, okay, I'll just listen to the audiobook. But I know that both the audiobook and the physical copy are going to take me literally forever to finish, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So it was really difficult to try to decide what I wanted. And then there was another book that I was looking for, and they didn't have it in stock, and that just kind of threw a wrench in my plans as well. But anyway, long story short, I did end up picking 3 books, and I'm so excited. So the first book that I picked out was Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. I have been wanting this book for quite a while. It was on the buy one get one 50% off table, but there wasn't anything else on that table that I necessarily wanted, so I did just buy this by itself, which is totally fine. I know that Hazel Hayes is a YouTuber, or used to be a YouTuber. I remember watching some of her videos back in the day. I don't remember being like a huge fan necessarily, but the name is obviously very familiar, and I've had my eye on this book for a really long time, like ever since it came out. And I picked it up at Barnes & Noble just recently, and I read the first page because that's typically what I do when I can't decide if I want to pick up a book or not. So I read the first page, and I was blown away by the writing style, so I'm really excited. I hope that the writing is just as beautiful in the rest of the book as it was on the first page. So yeah, and also this cover is absolutely gorgeous. Just there's something about it that I really love. The next book is one that I have never heard of before. Like, I've never seen anybody talk about this book, and that is The Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson. And I believe that this is also a romance. I'm actually not sure if this is a romance strictly or if it's a fiction book, but this one is definitely romance. And it follows a lonely librarian whose library is being threatened to shut down, and one of her old school friends named Alex, who happens to be a lawyer, is willing to help out. So they kind of get reconnected, and I'm super excited to see what happens. I have been in such a huge romance mood this year. I mean, I feel like I go through romance moods every once in a while, but this one feels really strong. Like, I am just loving romance at the moment. It's been like that since January. I really hope that I can continue on with my romance mood. And then the last book that I got from Barnes & Noble is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. And I actually read a sapphic book by Ashley Herring Blake way back in the day. I read How to Make a Wish. Literally one of my favorite YA sapphic novels. It's so good. One of the best ones. So I was really excited when she was coming out with an adult sapphic novel. And also, of course, Emily on Twitter. I will post her tweet right here. She has been telling me to pick up this book for literally ever, and I keep planning on it. I just haven't had the chance to do it. So I finally decided to pick it up from Barnes & Noble, and I'm so excited to read it. Also, this is another one that has an absolutely gorgeous cover. I love these two ladies on the front. I love their style. Okay, so I have 3 more books left, and the next one is one that I picked up at Walmart recently, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this actually just recently got picked up by Netflix, which is really exciting because previously Freeform was going to adapt it, and not a lot of people were happy about that because Freeform, not really a great platform, or I guess like, what do you call those, like a TV channel? I don't watch TV, so I have no idea what you would call that. But thankfully it's been picked up by Netflix. It seems like a lot more people are happy about that. I know some people were hoping for HBO or HBO Max, and I kind of agree, but Netflix is like the next best thing, I think. So yeah, I'm really glad that I'm picking this up before it gets adapted because I haven't read this book. I know, I feel like I'm one of the last people to have read this book, and I've had so many friends telling me to pick it up, and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I do like Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read Daisy Jones and the Six. I've actually read it multiple times at this point, and I love that book so much. The audiobook is amazing. The physical book is absolutely just fantastic. I mean, I read it physically first and it just blew me away. So I'm really excited to give this book a chance. I do remember trying to read it a few years ago and I really couldn't get past the first page, but I'm going to push myself past the first page because now I own this book. Now I have a reason to read it and like to push myself to finish it. So yeah, we're definitely gonna read this book. I really hope I like it because everybody is hoping that Taylor Swift will do like an original song for this book, or even do like all of the music for the book, or movie, I guess, movie adaptation. And if that happens, that would be fantastic, and it would be even better if I end up liking the book. So I'm really excited to read this one. And the next 2 books are actually ones that just came in the mail today from my Amazon wish list, so thank you so much, Jenny. I will leave a link to her socials down below. I just wanted to say thank you so much. So the first book that she picked out for me is Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon, and I am so excited about this book. I heard, possibly, I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that there's plus size representation in this book. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea if that's true. It doesn't say anything about it in the synopsis. I've just seen it included in like plus size representation lists. So I can't say if it's true or not, but I'm really excited if it is. And even if it's not that big of a deal. I will still read it and probably really enjoy it. It sounds like such a cute book, and I know that it, you know, obviously has to do with someone who is a weather girl on like a news channel. And I think that that's such a cool job, so I'm really excited to see how it's portrayed in this book. And the very last book is The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. This is a writing duo that happens to be married, and they write a lot of like YA, contemporary romance books, and typically their books are retellings of Shakespeare plays, but I think that their most recent ones haven't been retellings, so this one definitely is not. And this also follows a writing duo. They're not married in the book, but I think that there might be some feelings there, so that's really exciting. And I'm so interested in reading this book. I think it's gonna be really intriguing to read a book written by a writing duo that happens to be married, and the book is about a writing duo that is going to be in like this romance. So that's gonna be fun. It's also kind of giving me beach read vibes, and I loved beach read so much. And I was actually just telling myself recently, I'm like, I really wish that there was like another book that was similar to beach read, that would give me the same feelings, that would, you know, just like fulfill that same sort of like, I guess, niche for me. And I feel like this one is going to be it. I really hope it is. I wish that there were more like really emotional and like hard-hitting romances. If there are, leave me recommendations down below. Like, I want a romance that is obviously going to have a happily ever after at the end, but is also going to make me feel things during the book and like make me cry. I really want a romance book that's going to make me cry during the middle, but will ultimately have a happily ever after at the end. I feel like I haven't gotten that since Beach Read, and I'm desperate. I really want to cry during a romance book. Give me the tears. So yeah, super excited about these two books. Thank you again, Jenny, for sending them to me from my Amazon wish list. It was so sweet. I really, really, really appreciate it. All right, so those were all of the books that I have gotten recently that have been given to me, that I've been able to purchase. I am just like so grateful to have these books in my collection. I've actually been enjoying not buying books like all the time. I feel like I kind of went through that phase of like, I need this book, I need this book, I need this book. And I'm glad that that has kind of like stopped at the moment, because I feel so overwhelmed with the amount of books that I have. And also I have been using my library card so much recently and I love it. I don't check out things physically because I cannot be trusted. I am horrible at taking books back to the library, so thankfully my library has access to things like Libby or Hoopla, just like the best apps ever created. They're so amazing. Really grateful to my library at the moment. But yeah, also really happy to have all these physical books in my possession. It's so much fun. And I hope you all enjoyed this haul, this come shopping with me, this vlog. It's kind of like a hybrid between all of those things. I love watching videos like this where you get to see them shop for the books and then also haul them later. I don't know, there's something very, very satisfying about that. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, Storygraph, TikTok. All the links are going to be down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Ooh,